Hi, I'm Brady Kress, and welcome to Exploring Historic America. Today, we're in Piqua, Ohio, at the Piqua Historical Area, just one part of the Ohio Historical Society.
Running the domestic side of the household.
One of the main things I see here, as far as the smaller versions of larger equipment, is this little tape loom. This could be used, this is a working model. It has the treadles that would go up and down, and the foot pedals down here that can be operated by your fingers.
Right.
And a beater bar and a shuttle here. This could be used to make ribbons for the hair or ribbons to hold back curtains, but you need more than that on the home side. You need a larger loom to make textiles, to make your clothing. Your bedspreads and all those kind of things. And they have one of those down in the spring house here, a larger loom?
Yes, that's right.
Is that correct? Okay, well, if you don't mind, I'd like to go down and check that out. I appreciate you taking the time to go around the house with us.
Okay.
Really appreciate it.
All right, Brady.
Let's go take a look at the spring house. Before we go down to the spring house, I wanted to show you these stairs here. Now, these stairs are pretty treacherous, but the girls, as we said before, there was only one staircase that went from this girls' area downstairs, and this goes from this room down to the dining room, and there's another one that goes from the dining room down to the kitchen, and I'm sure they learned it well. Here we are in the spring house, and the spring flows directly beneath us, which would cool this room a little bit, and it would provide an excellent environment for textile production. And so sitting behind me is this large two-harness weaving loom, and they had it here and up in this room where a gentleman could come every couple months, and for a few weeks he would weave all of the textiles they needed, all of the blankets and textiles for clothing that they needed to make their clothes. So let's take a look at how this differs from the loom upstairs. On this weaving loom, you can see where there are two harnesses. Now, the harnesses have what are known as heddles on them, and every heddle has a small opening that you can send a thread through. They're connected to these harnesses, and those harnesses are connected down to foot pedals. And so as you move the foot pedals back and forth, these harnesses separate the individual threads, which allows you to throw a shuttle through here with another piece of thread on it. And then once that's through, you pull back the beater, and it beats that one, and then you send it through again and move your harnesses. And so it allows you to make fabric. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was this right here. This is what's known as flax, and it is a plant that can be grown around here, and inside the flax it holds linen fibers. And here is what it looks like after you send this thing through a number of beaters and combs, and it comes out to a material like this that can be spun then into thread, to linen thread. You can put it on a loom like this and weave linen material. And it is because of the environment, it is because we are on a farm that allowed John Johnston to grow things like this so that he could weave. And that takes us to the next part of the program, which is agriculture. And here we have a press. And where you find presses, you find things to be pressed. And one of the things that was pressed around here were apples. Apples was one of John Johnston's largest commodities. He had apple orchards out in front of the house and out in back of the house, and he would press them into cider. And he would do that in this building. This is a limestone cider house. And a cider house like this made out of limestone would control the temperature so you didn't have variations on the high side or the low side. If it did get too warm in here, this limestone building is equipped with little doors down along the floor that you could open up and control the airflow. It's interesting, today we use fences to keep animals in. 200 years ago, we used fences to keep animals out, away from our gardens, away from our crops. One of the things that other farms have in other agricultural areas are barns, and this is one incredible barn. This is one great barn. This barn is one of the originals. It was built in 1808 along with the original cabin that they stayed in. And you can see it's a log barn. It is one of the oldest existing barns in Ohio, log barns like this. And what they've done to preserve the log barn is they've actually built a timber frame barn over it so that these logs aren't exposed to the weather. With all of this area, with all of this room to keep your crops, your harvests in here, your apples, everything, you needed a way to transport them to market. And we're going to see exactly how they did that.